You're looking for a keyboard that actually lets you play music without spending hours tweaking menus, that feels solid enough to survive nightly gigs or daily home practice, and that justifies every dollar you put into it. The hesitation most of us feel when we stare at a wall of specs is real. You could end up with a machine that's packed with features you'll never use, or you could miss a hidden limitation that makes a studio session a nightmare. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What I'm going to do is walk through the Yamaha Genos 276 key flagship arranger the way a gig night musician or a serious home composer would, so you can see whether the value lives up to the hype or whether it's a Niceto have that will just collect dust. First off, let's talk about the kind of setup most players end up with when they buy an arranger keyboard. You pull it out of the case, hook it to a PA system or a pair of monitors, maybe pop a USB flash drive in for extra sounds, and you're ready to layer chords, add a drum groove, and start improvising. The Genos 2 tries to make that whole process feel like a single, fluid motion. The biggest thing that sets it apart is the built-in accompaniment styles, those backing band tracks that automatically follow the chords you play. In a live setting, that means you can walk on stage with just the keyboard and a mic, and you'll instantly have a full band sound behind you. For a home composer, it translates to instant arrangement ideas without having to program a drum machine or sequence a bass line from scratch. One of the practical strengths that really shines in day-to-day use is the voice and style expansion capability. Yamaha has packaged a library of genre-specific sounds, and you can add more packs later if you decide you need a tighter Latin groove or a richer orchestral palette. The Super Articulation 2, SA2, voices deliver a level of realism that makes a piano line sound like a real grand, or a sax phrase breathe like a live player. When I tested the piano patches while playing a simple chord progression, the sustain and pedal behavior responded to my dynamics in a way that felt natural, not synthetic. That sort of nuance is what keeps a keyboard from sounding like a MIDI controller with a speaker and moves it into the realm of a standalone instrument you can rely on for small gigs or serious composing. The Ambient Drums feature is another hidden gem. Instead of just a flat, close mic drum sample, Yamaha recorded each drum with both a close mic and a room mic, then blended them to give you a sense of space. In a rehearsal room, the drums have that live feel. You can hear the subtle bleed that tells your ears there's a real kit being played, which helps you lock into a groove more naturally. I tried a funk pattern with the snare set to the close mic and then switched to the room mic mix. The latter added just enough ambience to make the groove feel less sterile without drowning out the rest of the mix. Now, every piece of gear has trade-offs, and the Genos 2 is no exception. The most obvious one is that it's a 76-key instrument, not a full 88. For pianists who need the complete range of a concert grand, that missing octave can be limiting, especially for classical repertoire that dips into the lowest bass notes. However, for most pop, rock, jazz, and even many film scoring situations, the 76-key layout provides a comfortable compromise between portability and range. The keyboard also uses a weighted touch surface that feels decent for its price tier, but it won't satisfy a professional concert pianist who's used to the heft of a true hammer action. In my experience, the action is smooth enough for expressive playing, but you'll notice a slight float when you try rapid arpeggios at the top of the register. Another practical consideration is the connectivity. The combo XLR/inch input with optional 48V phantom power means you can plug a microphone directly into the keyboard and run it straight to the PA. That's a huge convenience for singer-songwriters who want to keep the mic chain short. The only downside is that you still need a separate audio interface if you plan to record multi-track sessions into a DAW, because the built-in mixer is geared more toward live monitoring than detailed multi-channel recording. So if your workflow revolves around high-resolution multi-track sessions, you'll likely have to route the output to a computer or audio interface anyway. Who should buy the Genos 2? If you're a gigging solo musician who wants a one-stop shop that gives you instant band accompaniment, realistic instrument voices, and the ability to add your own expansion packs without buying a separate sound module, this keyboard is a solid match. It's also a good fit for home composers who need a reliable workstation for sketching ideas quickly. The touchscreen makes navigating styles and patches a breeze, and the SA2 voices cut down on the need for external plugins when you're just